Good day and welcome to another time of Sunday School lessons. We begin lesson 4 this week, titled Unity at Babel. Our memory verse is from Genesis chapter 11 and verse 4. It says, "And they said, Come, let us build ourselves a city, and a tower whose top is in the heavens. Let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered abroad the face of the earth." Our lesson has two divisions as usual. 1. The motive of unity, and 2. The divine response. Today, we'll be looking at division 1, the motive of unity, under two subheadings. A. One world, one language, and B. Over-ambition. I pray that the Lord fill our hearts with the power in His Word as we go through this lesson in Jesus' name. So A. One world, one language. After the events of Eden, man began to multiply. After many generations, God had to judge man again. It was during Noah's time. God destroyed the world with a great flood. The people had gone their own ways, and they took no thought about God. Noah and his family were spared. They continued to multiply, and of course, they spoke the same language as they grew into larger numbers. So, God's blessing on man of being fruitful and multiplying was being fulfilled. As the people journeyed together in Genesis chapter 11, they found a comfortable place where they settled, and they decided to remain there. And as we read in the memory verse, they decided to build a city for themselves, make a name for themselves, and not be scattered over the face of the earth. Good thoughts, were they not? They had the gift of one language, and so it was easy for them to be united in purpose. Communication plays a big role in being united. When we understand one another's language, we can more easily convey our thoughts. Hence, it was easy for the vision of one city, one tower, and one name to be relayed and accepted. The gift of one language kept the people together as one, and they took advantage of this to set a common purpose. God Himself took notice of their unity and purpose that He said in Genesis chapter 11 verse 6, "Look, they are one people with the same language for all of them, and this is the beginning of what they will do. Nothing that they have a mind to do will be impossible for them." God knows the power that can result from being united in purpose. In Acts chapters 2 and 4, we see how united the first church was and how God moved powerfully among them because of their unity. The power of unity was also exhibited when they came together to pray for Peter, who had been put in prison, in Acts chapter 12. B. Over ambition. Let's go back to the people's call. They had decided to 1. Build a city for themselves, 2. Make a name for themselves, and 3. Not be scattered over the face of the earth. But let's look closer at their endeavors as recorded in the Bible. Their desires were to make themselves comfortable, take pride in their achievements, and stay together in one place. They wanted to stay united. That was not a bad idea. The question is, in all their plans, where did they place God? Where will their Creator come in? All they wanted was for themselves and nothing to do with God. In fact, their desire was against His purpose. Remember in Genesis chapter 1 verse 28, God had blessed man and told him to fill the earth. We know that the earth is quite a big place. However, they would prefer not to scatter abroad upon the face of the earth. Rewind to Eden. Adam and Eve had enjoyed their time with God in the garden until their attention was shifted away from God. In Genesis chapter 3 verse 6, Eve looked at the fruit and began to see its benefits. her attention went from God's instructions to the beauty and benefits of the fruit. She got carried away and disobeyed God. Her thoughts were no longer on her Creator. During Noah's time, the people's attention were also no longer on God. They got engrossed in their own selfish desires. And then here in Genesis chapter 11, we see the attention of the people was also not on God, nor on His purpose, but in their own ambitions. No one thought about God's purpose. In lesson 2, we had discussed God's purpose for His creation. He created us to display His glory and not to create our own. So on the surface, their plans do not look bad, but in relation to God, they were sure on the wrong path. All their motives of unity did not fulfill God's purposes. We may be united towards the purpose today, whether as a family or as a church. If our plans do not fulfill the purposes of God, we are treading the wrong path. I once heard a minister talk about his church's plan to replace their plastic chairs with soft seats. But while he discussed this with God, God told him to suspend the plan and do something for the schools in his environment instead. The soft seats were a good plan, but God had a better plan for that moment. Sometimes we may have all it takes to fulfill our ambitions, but God is more interested in us than in our ambitions. When we take certain seemingly good steps, God may hold us back for a greater good. Our lessons learned. When in our numbers we are united in purpose, we can achieve far beyond our imaginations. Secondly, we must carefully consider the motives of our united purpose so that we do not leave God out nor go against His own purpose. So here we end Division 1. We'll take a break on Lesson 4 and continue with Division 2 next week. May the Lord help us remain united in His purpose in Jesus' name. God bless you. Have a great week.